Welcome back to another episode of Boxing's Dirty Secrets. I'll be your host, Jab Queen Boxing, and today we're going to talk about how a bad team can destroy a boxer's career. In boxing, we always focus on the opponents in the other corner, the one with the power, the speed, the will to win. But what if the most dangerous person in a fighter's life isn't in the ring at all? What if they're standing right there in his corner? The people paid to protect him, the ones trusted with his career, his health, his entire future. This is how a bad team can destroy a legacy and even a life long after the final bell. We're going to break down the darkest ways a boxer can be destroyed, not by a rival, but by the very people who are supposed to have their back. Let's start with one of the most heartbreaking cautionary tales in boxing, Prichard Colón. On October 17, 2015, Colón, an undefeated rising star from Puerto Rico, stepped into the ring against Terrell Williams. He was 16-0 and charismatic with a brilliant future ahead. But that night, the rules of the sport were tragically ignored. Williams repeatedly struck Colón with illegal rabbit punches to the back of the head. Now, Colón, visibly in pain, complained to the referee, who dismissed his concerns and told him to take care of it. He also told his corner and the ringside doctor that he felt dizzy and his head hurt, but he was cleared to continue fighting. The people meant to protect him completely failed to see the danger. After the ninth round, Colón's corner mistakenly removed his gloves, resulting in a disqualification. On his way to the dressing room, he collapsed. A brain bleed sent him into a coma for nearly a year, 221 days to be exact. The damage was catastrophic. Prichard Colón's career was over at just 23 years old, and he was left in a persistent vegetative state, unable to walk or talk. His life was permanently altered because the system designed to ensure his safety, the referee, the doctor, and his own damn team failed him. This stands as the ultimate example of how negligence in a fighter's corner can lead to a preventable tragedy. Not all betrayals are as obvious as ignored foul play. Sometimes the weapon is invisible, injected into the fighter's body without their knowledge, or simply ignored by a team looking the other way. Doping has long cast a shadow over boxing, but the questions get darker when suspicion falls on a fighter's own camp. Look at the concerns raised by Juan Manuel Marquez about the team around Canelo. Marquez pointed to the pattern: tainted fighters who suddenly test positive for banned substances after joining the Canelo team. While not a direct accusation, he made a clear point. The trainer is responsible for everything their fighter consumes. This highlights a team's core duty to be a shield. A boxer's job is to train. They must rely on their team to manage their diet and supplements. A negligent team can get a fighter banned through incompetence. A corrupt one might intentionally use performance enhancing drugs, gambling with the fighter's health and reputation. The infamous trainer, Panama Lewis, was trailed by rumors about the special water bottle he gave his fighters. A documentary later aired claimed that he would break open asthma pills and mix the contents into his fighters' water to illegally boost their lung capacity in the later rounds. Whether it's negligence or deception, the fallout is devastating. A positive test can erase a victory, trigger a multi year ban, and permanently stain a legacy. All because the people in their corner failed to protect them from an invisible enemy. Today, a team's job goes far beyond the gym. They are the guardians of a fighter's integrity, and a single act of cheating can create a career ending minefield. A perfect example is the scandal over illegal hand wraps. Take the case of Antonio Margarito in 2009. Just before his high stakes welterweight title fight with Shane Mosley, Margarito's team was caught in the act. Mosley's alert trainer, Nazim Richardson, shout out to him, demanded Margarito's hand wraps be inspected. What they found was a plaster like hardening substance inside the wrap, a clear attempt to turn his gloves into weapons. The wraps was confiscated, obviously, and Margarito went on to suffer a devastating knockout loss. But the real damage came after. The California State Athletic Commission revoked both his and his trainer's license, and his career was never the same. He became a pariah with his entire legacy, including a brutal win over Miguel Cotto, called into question. He was no longer seen as a warrior, but as a cheat. This is a modern minefield where integrity is everything. A fighter's team is their first line of defense, responsible for ensuring everything is by the book. A corrupt team, willing to break the rules for a dangerous edge, can get their fighter blacklisted from the sport. A career can be ended not by a punch, but by an illegal rap, a failed inspection, and a reputation shattered beyond repair. Then there's the oldest betrayal in boxing, the financial knockout. For decades, predatory figures had bled fighters dry, leaving them with nothing to show for a career of pain and sacrifice. The most famous example is Mike Tyson, promoted by the notorious shrewd Don King. Tyson generated hundreds of millions of dollars. Yet after years of dominance, Tyson filed for bankruptcy. He sued Don King for $100 million, accusing his team of systematically siphoning away his fortune through predatory contracts. He was the biggest star in the sport, but the people meant to protect his interests were allegedly taking him to the cleaners. Today, the exploitation is often buried in legal jargon. A crooked manager might sign a naive fighter to a long term deal with an outrageous percentage. A promoter might push their client into dangerous terms like a draining rehydration clause for a quick payday. This is the quiet betrayal. No legal blows, no dirty tests, just a pen and a piece of paper and a fighter's trust. Countless boxers have entered their careers broke, earning millions, only to find their team squandered it. They win the fights, but lose their future, all because their team saw them as disposable assets instead of a person. From ignored illegal blows to predatory contracts, the biggest threat to a boxer is often the trust they place in their own team. The stories of Pritchard Collin, Mike Tyson, and countless others who were doped, manipulated, or financially ruined all point to the same grim reality. In boxing, your own corner can be the most dangerous place in the world. A fighter's career is a fragile thing built on years of sacrifice. It demands a team that is not just skilled, but fiercely loyal and ethical. Because without that trust, a boxer is left fighting all alone against forces far more destructive than any opponent they could ever face in that ring. Well, guys, that concludes this episode of Boxing's Dirty Secrets: how a bad team can destroy a boxer's career. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you sub to the channel. Also, I am live every Thursday and Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you pull up and show your girls some love. And until next time, y'all know what to do. Catch me on a panel.